To lose weight as you get older, especially if you're over 40 and you have any kind of hormonal imbalance, you have to stop dieting. It is that simple. So we have to look at weight and how we adjust our weight according to calories. But it's not all calories. And I know now is a big thing where everybody's talking about hormones. Okay, yes, it's hormones, and yes, it's calories. So you can't get your calories to work for you if it's creating a hormone imbalance on the other end. And you can't get your hormones to balance out, which is wreaking havoc on trying to balance your calories. So we keep trying to cut our calories, which flares our hormone system. And then we try to control all of our hormone system with synthetic drugs or whatever, but it doesn't utilize our calories correctly. So we have to get the two systems to work together. And so what we need to do is balance your calories. Do you ever think that the reason why you're hungry is not because the amount, yes, it's going to be the amount of food, but what the balance is in that meal according to your energy expenditure of what you're doing at that time. So we just take this day and we say, this day is worth 1,400 calories, and we eat 1,400 calories through our day, and we think that that's how our body manages it. But it doesn't really. So it takes the calories and it uses it, right? It uses the calories within a few hours of when we eat them. So we need to balance the calories according to the energy expenditure that we are in at that moment. So like for me, I get up in the morning and then I go to the gym. When I come home, now my body is the most hungry because I've gone mostly all night. And then in the morning, I don't like to eat before I go to the gym. That's just my thing. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little hungry when I go, I'll bring a shake with me and like an apple just to refresh me, just to get the shakes off of, working out on an empty stomach. So it depends on how I feel when I get up. Then when I get home, that's when I eat a really big meal. And that is to sustain, that's the energy put that I need for the energy output that I just gave it. Now, through the rest of my day, I start to decrease my calorie intake because my energy expenditure for the rest of the day now is decreasing. By the time I eat my dinner, it's usually a salad and a carbohydrate or salad and a protein. If I've had a heavy workout or I'm feeling extra tired, then I add a carbohydrate in there. So that's how you create a balance within your day. And you can't just be always just focused on calories only. Calories in and calories out works on the energy expenditure part of it, but then you have to balance it with your hormones. And if you have any kind of hormone imbalance, then you already know what I'm talking about. So now, I have learned the most about insulin being an athlete myself, of doing Ironmans and marathons and all of that. You have to learn about your insulin and you get crashing, right? And all of those kinds of things. Anyway, so how I learned about insulin was sitting through many endocrinology appointments with my son, who's a type 1 diabetic. Now, just listening to him talk to his doctor and then them talking about blood sugars and, all of these things and how to adjust, because with his insulin, his body doesn't make insulin. So he had to adjust it, obviously externally, because internally it's not happening. So you can control even your energy with your insulin and how you create those balances. That's how you create a balance within your hormone insulin. Many people right now are insulin resistance, and this is a big hot topic. And normally women just go and they get a constant glucose monitor or something like that. You do not need any of this fancy equipment. Your body already tells you what it's feeling. And for you to know those what spikes your insulin and how long you feel like, all of that's super important, but you can do this work on your own. And you do have to create a balance in your insulin and in your blood sugar, but it's easy enough just to do with your food. And insulin, comes from our carbohydrates, but it also has to do with how you pair your carbohydrates, and again, how that factors into whatever energy you're doing for that time. That's how your body is going to use that insulin. And you can absolutely control it with your food. Another big hormone that is a big buzzword now is cortisol, and that is our stress hormone. And if that is active in your body for whatever reason, for me, my cortisol was really high because I was trying to do too many metabolic conditioning type workouts. I was jumping around, doing burpees, doing this, running, sprinting, on and on and on, because I was trying to get my heart rate up high, and I was trying to create this negative energy balance with my calories. And the way to do that was to go work harder. But it wasn't until I slowed down that I realized that the cortisol in my system was a large part of it was caused by the workouts that I was doing, that I was trying to create a calorie deficit with. So once I started to slow down and my cortisol and my stress started to come down, and I balanced my hormone levels, and like, your hormone levels are interchanging every single day. So if you ever had any blood work, if you have any kind of hormone issues, then you already know. One time you go and your hormones are this, and one time it's that. It's a day-to-day snapshot. It's only a broad picture. You can't just go by your blood work. You got to go by what you're feeling, right? So when you take your hormones and you take your calories and you create a blend between both of them, this is how you get success in weight loss as you get older. Now, one big thing that I know we all complain about, or we think is the problem, we think it is our progesterone or our estrogen or our testosterone that is creating havoc on all of our systems. So again, once that system starts to have any kind of a disruption in it, right? The estrogen or the progesterone or whatever case it may be, if you're in that phase of life, once those disruptors, once those things get disrupted, it also disrupts the other things. And that's why you start to notice a difference in insulin and cortisol, because it's all one big, happy, harmonious cycle in there. And when one of the systems gets off, the rest of the systems can't work right. So you have to work on the calorie system, figuring out where you need to put your energy around the energy that you're expending for that time, right? So if you're gonna work out at night, you're not gonna have your biggest meal in the morning, right? You're gonna taper into your day and then have your biggest meal, so that when you work out, then it takes in the energy and it uses it. So we can just alleviate all of this up and down by taking our calories or our foods, our macros, whatever it is that we're doing, and we spread them out according to the balance of what our day looks like. And then we have to look at our food composition is the other part of it. And then we have to look into other areas of our lives, and working out, even in all good intentions, your working out could be causing stress on that system where you're not able to control your calories because your stress or your insulin is through the roof. But you do have control over it. All you have to do is start food logging. That's all you have to do. Start logging your food. Look where your calories are going. Look and see, is it matching where my calorie expenditure is? Am I using my carbohydrates and my fats that are both energy sources? Am I using them correctly according to what I need them for? If you're going to the gym a high fat breakfast isn't gonna probably get you the results that you want at the gym. But if you were to use the other energy source, you know, carbohydrates, and you go and work out on that, you're gonna feel a little bit different. And everybody is different in this way. And that's why you have to just do your food logs and you have to compare. And then you have to take a serious look at your workouts and saying, am I doing something that is benefiting, bringing the cortisol and the insulin down in my system? Or am I adding stress to that? And also, when you start to over-restrict your calories or eat too much processed foods, bingo, that is right there is gonna elevate also your cortisol. So the first thing I did, because I was manipulating every single calorie and I had every macro right down. The first thing I did was I took all exercise out of my diet. All exercising out of my plan, and I just focused on just my food. And that's typically what I do with my clients is I get their food situated, and it usually only takes a week or two to kind of see what the pattern is that they're in and the little minor corrections that we need to make. You do not need to do an overhaul. You don't need to scrimp on these calories or drink calories to keep yourself from, or trying to lose weight. You just got to keep your calories, you got to balance them out. Then what we do is we start walking, and then we start with the working out. Because once you get your food situated and you understand how it works, then you add your exercise in on it, you can see exactly how your body is going to be affected by the food that you're eating. So I always start with the food and logging. All you have to do is log your food and see where do your calories live in your day. That's your energy input. And then you're gonna compare that to where is my energy output for the day? And are those two matching? Okay? Am I seeing an increase and a decrease of crashing in my insulin? Is it going up and down? Am I feeling dizzy, hungry, short? And am I having cravings? Like, these are all symptoms, right? Again, you're gonna look at your food log and you're gonna see where are your carbohydrates, where are your fats, because pretty much you're gonna eat a protein at every single meal. And then you're gonna say, is this meal too carb heavy for what I'm doing? Is this creating a crash in the afternoon? Is this need a little bit more fat? Okay, and this is why there's 50 million diets, because 50 million people had gotten success from these diets, right? And this is what you do is you take all of those and you use those to your benefit, and you understand how to apply them into your life. Okay, so when you're thinking about your carbohydrates, you can take some things like, I love to carb cycle. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And I just essentially take my carbs and I just cycle them wherever I need them. And my body just burns it up better rather than just eating willy-nilly all day, counting calories, and then wondering why I don't feel right. So once you can get those two systems working, the weight practically falls off, and you can then get a better gauge at, oh, I'm hungry, or I'm craving, and then you just look right back in your food logs and say, oh yeah, this is where I need to adjust again. And then when you add your workout parts in there, again, you start progressing and progressing and progressing. And once you start to see a system of your cortisol is going up, you're feeling very stressed, your joints are hurting, I can't sleep at night, right? Your stresses. Okay, this means that you have progressed just beyond what your threshold is at that time. And you stay there for a little bit. And then as your body adjusts, then you can progress it again. And again, you go back to your food logs. Are you having any adverse effects from your workouts? How can you adjust your food? Is it your workout or is it your food? Are you having a chronic fatigue? Is that your stress? Or are you just not having the right energy for the the energy output that you're trying to do. So if you want to lose weight and you're having hormone issues and you're over 40, this is the balance that you have to find. And it's the balance between your calories and it's the balance between your hormones. It lives in your food logs and it lives in your workouts. So you got to take the calories and the hormones and you got to create that balance. And everybody's balance is different. And how you handle it, you know, all of that. Everybody's different. So I hope that that helps, that equation helps, but I just feel like there's so much confusion about what is the right thing to do and what is not. And so many people just say energy in, energy out, energy in, energy out. But it's not that way. Trust me, because I did it. I'm watching hundreds of women do it on my food logs every single day. And all the time they're like, what about my calories? What about the fact that you have to just change some stuff? You're not hungry because you're not full because you're not having the right calories. You're just not putting them in the right place. So we got to stop the manipulation and we got to create a balance between the hormones and with our calories.